Okay, welcome back everyone. So we have Anita Alexander from the Staff Health and the Psychology. Okay, I'll pass on there to talk about mindfulness.
Hi everybody. We're going to I'm from Staff Health, which is part of People and Culture, and we do a lot of work around staff mental and physical well-being. We run the physical coaching sessions, we run the wellbeing workshops, anything to do with keeping you healthy and fulfilled and engaged at work. So I'm going to start off this session with a little mindfulness exercise. So sounds like you've had a lot of thinking and being talked to today, and probably talking yourselves. So just if you could just now take a bit of a break and just sit back comfortably in your chair. So whatever that is for you, it doesn't matter how you're sitting, and hopefully the people that are at LinkedIn, you're doing it as well. And you can either close your eyes or just stare down at the floor, but just bring your attention away from what's going on around you. So whatever works for you. And notice your body feeling it sitting there on the chair, supported. Feel the sort of grounded weight of it, keeping you here on the earth, the chair, the ground under you. And notice the satisfaction of what it's like being in your body, feeling your own physicality. And then tune in to yourself and take an exhale. Exhale and inhale. And do it again. And as you do it, just get 5% more comfortable. Maybe move your neck a little bit, or whatever it takes to just get 5% more comfortable. Maybe make some little movements. Bringing your attention to yourself, the comfort of sitting here, and essentially what's going to be, or what is, a mindful moment. So keeping your focus on your breath, take a deep breath and hold it at the top and extend the exhale. And know that as you do that, it's nourishing and supportive of your body. Let's do that again. This time feel into the nourishing quality of filling your body and every cell in your body with fresh oxygenated blood. And as you exhale, allow that exhale to be softening and soothing. So keep on doing that for a few more breaths. Breathing in, feeling the nourishing quality of that. And allowing your exhales to be softening and soothing. And as you do this, you'll notice thoughts coming into your mind. We're not trying to get rid of them. They'll keep on coming, just letting them go. Notice how you don't have to pay attention to them. You don't have to grab them and run with them. You just notice them and let them go. Bring your attention back to your breath. In and out. Feel the pleasure of, just for a little moment, allowing yourself to sit there and not having to think about anything, not having to engage. And then bring your attention back to the room. Here you are. Opening your eyes and looking up. And just stay in that sort of comfortable, relaxed state. And I'll talk to you for a little while. You just have to sit there and listen and make any comments if you want to. So what I'm going to be talking about is mindfulness, and I'll be telling you just the top line research around it and how it works with the brain. And everything that I'm talking about is based on a software program, software platform that you all have access to called Mindama. This is mandatory training for everybody. So if you haven't done it yet, I really encourage you to. There's a lot of worthwhile information in there. I mean, I'm a psychologist. I've been trained in mindfulness, but it was still very useful and often eye-opening for me to go through that training. So I want to refer you to that for after this session. So let's have a look at a definition of mindfulness. This is by one of the most famous mindfulness teachers in the world, Jon Kabat-Zinn, who is a professor of medicine at the University of Massachusetts. I can't say it. And he had a history of training in yoga and meditation, Buddhism and so on. And he combined that with some science and what he knew about the human brain from his training to create something called mindfulness-based stress reduction. And this is very well known all around the world now. It's very well researched because of the effects on, for example, decreased anxiety and depression, for pain relief. There's a whole host of positive effects from practicing mindfulness-based stress reduction, and you can research that yourself. I just want to talk about him because if you're something you want to look into in the future, look up Jon Kabat-Zinn. So what we see in this quote is moment by moment non-judgmental awareness cultivated by paying attention. So this quote doesn't say anything about getting rid of thoughts, which is often what people think mindfulness is. It just talks about not paying attention to them. So it's very useful in our development to realise that we are not our thoughts. You know, it feels like we're our thoughts, but we're not our thoughts. They're coming at us from who knows where, and we don't have to engage with them. Some of them are useful, but many of them are very repetitive and they're not helpful. And those ones are the ones that we can let go. But to do that, we need to be able to be discriminating. And mindfulness, that slowing down and noticing, is what helps us do this. We can't separate from our thoughts and manage them unless we can step back and be aware of them. What it also does, that stepping back and being aware, is it stops us being so reactive. So let's think about, say, if you got an email that from somebody and you didn't like what was in there, you know, and we all do it. We all feel like bristling up, and I'm going to reply straight away. Practicing mindfulness allows us to stop, notice what we're doing. Here I am reacting. I'm about to give them a piece of my mind. Maybe that's not such a good idea, and we calm down. Yeah? That's how it can really help with heading off problems in our life. But we've all had mindfulness in a positive sense as well. If you think about, say, when you went on a holiday to somewhere beautiful and there was a lot of, you know, you flew there and then you had to get a bath and unpack in the hotel room, and then you get down to the beach or by the lake or whatever, and suddenly it's like, here I am. You know, we're not in the future catastrophizing or worrying. We're not in the past ruminating how things could have been better. We're here right now. That's a moment of mindfulness that we've all had experience with, and we can cultivate those moments. So why do it? What mindfulness does is the ability to give us a pause between what's happening to us. You can see in there that trigger and our response. And in that pause, an enormous amount can happen. First of all, we're breathing, observing what's happening in our body. So in the case of that email, my blood is starting to boil. I'm noticing that. I'm not running with it. I'm just noticing it. I'm naming it to tame it. That means naming my feelings. So if we say to ourselves, I'm angry here, we have separated ourselves from that anger just a little bit. You know, we're not caught up in it because part of us is noticing, another part is angry. We're not fused with it. We can consider the other person. You know, maybe they didn't mean to insult us or tell us what to do. And we can also think through the consequences. Yeah, that's what that 90-second pause, that practice of mindfulness gives us, and how it helps us improve our life and head off problems. Here's a quote from Viktor Frankl, who was an Austrian psychiatrist who was in Auschwitz, and he wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning, about what he learned essentially about managing and noticing his reactions and separating himself from it, so he was able to choose how he would respond in that most dire of circumstances. I'll let you read that. I mean, he didn't call it mindfulness. I don't think anyone had come up with that title then, but he's saying in that pause is our growth and our freedom. That's where we're truly free, because we're choosing how we will respond, not react. So who practices mindfulness? It's increasingly used in the corporate world. That first book there is from Search Inside Yourself by someone who was at Google for a long time. There's a picture there of a write-up of some research amongst first responders in America. The reason for that it's used so much is because of the research that shows the impact on productivity, fulfillment at work, focus. There's less turnover, less sick leave, the more people are able to practice mindfulness. We had probably you all do it already when you're out doing jobs. We had a person in a wellbeing workshop who used to be a pilot at Qantas, and he told me that we were talking about mindfulness, and he said no matter what's happening, he's trained to stop, assess and act. You know, and that's like the plane's going down, but he's stopping, assessing, acting. And essentially that's a mindfulness moment. You know, he's not just running with it. He's stopping and pulling back and thinking about what he'll do. So just some top-line research about what mindfulness does for us. So it enables us to engage our cognitive functions of our mind, where our reasoning is and our logic. We're not overtaken by the amygdala and emotional reactivity. In Mind Dharma, the software program I told you about, they call it the wise mind, activating the wise mind. It enables emotional regulation through the limbic system, calms the flight-fight response, and enhance relationships, because we're not reacting all the time. We're calming down, choosing and responding. So there's also a lot of research amongst first responders, and this was research done by the people who developed the Mind Dharma program amongst firefighters, and I'll let you read there the impact of mindfulness training. I don't want to go into that too much because that's something you can read later if you want to, but just to show you there's a huge amount of research around about it. And I'm going to show you now a video that shows how mindfulness and how the brain works. It'll talk about neuroplasticity, which is, you know, the more we practice mindfulness, the less reactive we are, because we train our brain essentially. It says in there, the more we worry, the better we get at worrying, and the more neural pathways there are. Reverse is true for mindfulness. Thank you.
Get this to work on.
Good. Yeah.
Keep going with the breathing.
Yep. Just have a seat, right? I'll get you to pause. Seat. Beautiful pause. Got a pen on you? Yep.
90%, that simply occurs beneath push. Wait a minute. Which means that even when we assume that we
So you'll have to apologise that I don't think that the sound went to everyone else for some reason.
Oh, okay. If you want, you could send it to them next time. Can we get this slide up? So what I'm going to do in the next 2 minutes, do you mind getting that up, is follow on from the last speaker, I believe you had, who mentioned, I'm not sure to what degree, box breathing. I'm going to show you what box breathing is and you can practice it and then we'll finish. So this is a way that regulates the autonomic nervous system. So what it is, it's breathing in for 4, holding for 4, breathing out for 4, and holding for 4. Yeah. So it's calming you down, but it's keeping you alert at the same time. So just for a minute, we're going to do it. I'm not going to lead you through it. I'm going to let you do it yourself. Practice. Breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold for 4 every time. So again, looking down or closing your eyes and practicing box breathing. Notice what it's doing. to your feelings of calm and alert. And bringing your attention back to the room. If we had longer, we would have done that for longer, but that's something that hopefully you got fixed in your mind and you can look into as well. That's all you need to know about box breathing. It's 4, 4, 4, 4, and it's balancing out the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous systems. So I'm going to finish with a couple of quotes from John Kabat-Zinn. You can't stop the waves, but you can learn how to surf. That's life. And I really like the last one. Mindfulness means being awake. It means knowing what you're doing. A lot of the time we're not present with what we're doing, you know. So we're reacting, which is fine. Sometimes we need to react, and you're probably react. Your training means that you're reacting very quickly a lot of the time. But the rest of the time, when you're not at work, and you know, we want to be aware of what we're doing and have choices and have that growth and freedom that was in the quote earlier. So that's it. I think we finished right on time for that. So thanks for.